Well, pennant race fever is back in St. Louis. They are headed to the postseason for the 5th consecutive year, and they open up play today with a 3-game lead over the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Brew Crew trying to disrupt that race for a division title. Brewers Cardinals, Game 4 of this 4-game series this afternoon. Hi, everybody. We welcome you from St. Louis alongside Bill Schroeder. I'm Brian Anderson. We'll hear from Telly Hughes in just a moment. Well, news today, the Brewers didn't get the news they wanted to hear, though. Ryan Braun is going to be shut down the rest of the season, and the September of shutdowns continue. Why now for Ryan Braun, you think, Rock?
No real reason to push him. I mean, he tried to come back. He played yesterday, showed up today. Doesn't feel all that great, but it's audition time for the Milwaukee Brewers. Let some of these young guys get some playing time. Ryan Braun, a nice bounce-back season from an injury-riddled season a year ago. You can see the numbers. He also stole 23 bases. So, shut him down, get him ready for surgery in the offseason, and he'll be back ready to go in spring training. But right now, the Brewers have guys they want to look at. No big deal missing Ryan the rest of the way.
So that back surgery is scheduled. It is a herniated disc. It is a minor procedure. Ryan Braun is confident he'll be back 100% going into 2016. A couple of Major League debuts yesterday. Michael Reed and Adrian Hauser. Telly Hughes has their stories when we come back from St. Louis.
Is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. The Crew and Cardinals will cap off their final meeting of the season in the Cardinals' home finale, with the Brewers looking to break out of St. Louis with a series split. Good afternoon from Busch Stadium, everyone. I'm Telly Hughes. This has definitely been the season for Major League debuts for the Brewers, as the franchise set a new record last night with Michael Reed and Adrian Hauser becoming the 10th and 11th players to make their first Major League appearance. And as you could imagine, for both, it's a thrill of a lifetime.
That third deck made it look really big. When I first stood up there, the plate looked like it was about 100 feet away. And I was like, whew. I had to take a step back and just remember that it was 60 feet, 6 inches, just like it has been always.
And what about you, Michael? Same thing?
Yeah, same thing. When I was walking up to the plate, I thought about just, locking in and not focusing on everything. But I was like, you know what, I'm gonna remember this for a long time. So, as I was walking to the plate, just took a deep breath and looked around, just kind of soaked it all in. And, it was just such a great feeling.
Can the Crew salvage a split in St. Louis? Tyler Cravey will take them out in hopes of doing so. Jeff and Jerry will take a closer look at the series finale starter after the break.
Hotel and casino. Book your stay now. Yeah, you can go in the Arch. You know that? They're up there watching us from way up there, the gateway to the west. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon, 73 degrees. Brewers Cardinals ready to match up for Game 4 of this 4-game series. It's the last meeting of the year between these two teams. And Craig Counsell trying to put a lineup together that can earn a split in this series. Counsell has Logan Schaefer leading off today. If you're just picking us up, Ryan Braun has been shut down for the rest of the season. So it goes Schaefer, Segura, and Lind. Middle of the order is Davis, Santana, and Perez. And then the bottom three, Maldonado, Yadier Rivera, and Tyler Cravey, who will be making his third start against the Cardinals and his second start here in St. Louis. He's looking for his first career victory. That's the Potawatomi batting order. John Lackey is on the mound for St. Louis. You see Adam Lind has pretty good numbers against Lackey. And Rock, the September shutdowns continue with the Brewers' best player in Ryan Braun. Will be the last time we see him this year.
Yeah, going to have back surgery very soon after the end of the season. But a nice season for Ryan Braun. The Brewers are in audition mode. They want to take a look at some of their young players that they have brought up from the minor leagues. So Braun's going to sit the rest of the season out, get ready for the surgery, and hopefully he's going to be ready for spring training in 2016.
Well, Jonathan Lucroy is available the rest of the year. He started last night, but he's not in the lineup today against John Lackey. And Rock, this guy has been, with all those big names in the Cardinal rotation, he's been the number one so far this season.
Mr. Consistency, John Lackey, 13-9. The earned run average outstanding, 274. He's had 19 consecutive starts where he's gone at least 6 innings. Making career start number 8 against Milwaukee. He's 5-1 overall and 3-1 this year. So he's throwing well against Milwaukee. He's been consistent all season long. Well, let's check out the Cardinals' Menards defense tonight. You got Grichuk, Hayward, and Piscotty in the outfield. Carpenter, Greg Garcia gets a start at shortstop. No Johnny Peralta. He doesn't sit many out, but he is today. And Colton Wong and Adams on the right side, with Tony Cruz once again behind home plate. Yadier Molina with a thumb issue.
Saul Hayward in center field last night. He's back in there today. Ben May will call the balls and strikes. Mark Carlson, Brian Gorman, and Trip Gibson are the base umpires. That is the crew chief, Brian Gorman, who's out at second base today. And all the pieces put in place. The Cardinals come into play here today with 98 wins. 98-57. Mike Matheny has become the first manager in Major League Baseball history to take his team to the postseason in his first 4 years as a manager. And while the Cardinals have the best record in baseball, Rock, they are still not out of the woods as far as the division race is concerned. The Pirates keep winning, and they are within 3, and those two teams will play next week. That's the next series for St. Louis. They will travel to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's going to be a very intense series. You know, Mike Matheny, a smile on his face. You don't see that very often, but with all the injuries that they've had this year, the Cardinals continue to win.
John Lackey deals his first offering of the day. It's a strike, and off we go at Busch Stadium. It's a busy time in downtown St. Louis today. The Rams are just a few miles down the road here in downtown, taking on the Steelers. So a great sports day all across the St. Louis landscape. As Schaefer rolls out, that's how the day begins for John Lackey.
Yeah, get used to the ground balls, because when John Lackey's on, he's going to get a lot of them. He's only allowed, well, he's had allowed 19 home runs, but he doesn't throw very hard. Relies on the ground ball out. Less hits than innings pitched this year. He's been solid throughout the year.
Lackey will match up against Tyler Cravey today. And the Brewers trying to get Cravey his first big league victory. He comes in 0-8. Lackey looks like he's trending towards the top spot in the Cardinal rotation as they hit the postseason. They don't like to talk about playoffs here just yet. They know they're going. They know they're going to be at least in the wild card game. And if they end up in the wild card game, they will host that wild card game. But they have their sights set on a division title, and if it does go into a league division series for the Cardinals, you figure Lackey is going to be the #1 guy. He's in line to do just that. Segura bounces to third base. Carpenter makes a play for out number 2.
Yeah, the young star Michael Wacha has not really pitched all that well his last 4 times out. Carlos Martinez done for the year. That happened a couple of days ago against the Brewers right here.
shoulder issue.
Tyler Lyons is going to enter into the rotation for the Cardinals the rest of the season. So you got Waka, you got Lance Lynn. Both pitchers are struggling a little bit, even though Waka did get a win here on Thursday night. And Jaime Garcia, who beat the Brewers last night, he's been outstanding for Matheny. He and Lackey have held down the top 2 spots in this rotation. But it is a rotation without an ace, a clear defined ace. Can Lackey be that guy once again? We will see. Adam Lind back in the lineup. He takes a strike. Had the day off yesterday against the left-handed starter Garcia.
Adams had pretty good numbers against John Lackey in his career. 18 for 40. That's a batting average approaching 500. These guys have seen a lot of each other over in the American League.
Lackey pitching for first the Angels and then the Red Sox. And of course Adam Lind, his entire career with the Blue Jays until the trade that brought him to Milwaukee. And he's happy for all his old mates there in Toronto. The Blue Jays clinching a postseason berth. Had one of the longest droughts going.
That's going to be a tough team to beat in the postseason. The way they've been playing. You got David Price over there. That offense, tough to keep those guys down.
Toronto has a magic number of 5. That is the same as the Cardinals. And a called strike 3. Lackey strikes out Adam Lind in a 3-up, 3-down first inning. Now the Cardinals are coming up. Tyler Cravey looking for win number 1. Score in the first. They go down in order in that first inning, and now Mike Matheny's Cardinals will come up against Tyler Cravey. 4th year as Cardinal manager, going back to the postseason once again. The Potawatomi batting order for Matheny: Matt Carpenter, Stephen Piscotty, Jason Hayward at the top, Randall Grichuk, Matt Adams, and Colton Wong in the middle of the order, with Greg Garcia, Tony Cruz, and John Lackey rounding it out. Piscotty's had a big series so far. 4 RBI game on Thursday. And the numbers on Tyler Cravey, they're not pretty, Rock, but he's trying to pick up his first major league win here today against the team that he made his major league debut against as a starter earlier this year.
Yeah, that was his best start against the Cardinals. That was back on June 2nd, a 1-0 loss here at Busch Stadium. He's 0-6 as a starter, looking for win number 1. He's been shut out 3 times, 2 times by the St. Louis Ball Club.
He's facing Matt Carpenter, who's back in the lineup today. He had to be removed from yesterday's game with hip tightness. Cardinals announced that it was just a precaution yesterday, and that seems to be true because he's back in the lineup here this afternoon. Carpenter with 26 homers, 82 runs batted in. And Cravey falling behind immediately, 3-0.
Cravey, not a hard throw. He's got to be able to command both sides of the plate, keep the baseball down, has a good off-speed pitch. Going to need that tonight or this afternoon. Keep these St. Louis hitters off his fastball.
Trying to get through the first inning. That was the problem yesterday. Tyler Wagner gave up 4 runs in the first inning. Cardinals brought 8 batters to the plate. And it was over before it started yesterday, especially the way Jaime Garcia pitched. He went 8 innings against the Brewers and struck out 8. Only 1 run. Carpenter in the air, left field. Davis will ease over. And he's got it for out number 1.
Well, let's check out the Menards Brewers defense for tonight. You ready to see Chris Davis out in left. You got Schaefer in center, Santana in right. You got Perez, Segura, Rivera. Yadiel Rivera makes his 2nd consecutive start out at second base. Adam Lind at first, and Maldonado, who's swinging the bat pretty well last night, back behind home plate.
And with Ryan Braun shut down the rest of the year, Domingo Santana figures to be the everyday right fielder from here on out. And his more comfortable position. Piscotty deep into right field. Santana's going back, reaches up, and he makes the catch. Right on cue. Domingo Santana at the last minute reached up and pulled that one back. Heck of a play.
Yeah, I think Santana was kind of surprised that ball carried the way it did. And nice to be 6'5" if you're Domingo Santana. Going back, he turned himself around a little bit and able to haul it in. Well, off the bat, it looked like it might have been a routine fly. Just kept going. But Santana able to bring it in.
Santana's not the smoothest, not the prettiest looking outfielder you've seen, but he does make plays. It looks like they're in a panic a lot, but he does make plays.
Yeah, turns himself around, but able to correct himself and make the catch. He's kind of got that grin on his face. What did I do that for? I'm better than that. As long as you catch it, you don't get style points here. Some guys think you do, but you don't.
He might have been a little shaken up there. Looks like he's clutching at his elbow, his left elbow. Here's Jason Hayward. He is back in center field today, which is where he started in yesterday's game. And he might be the answer in center field for the Cardinals moving forward here. John Jay is active but injured. He has a wrist injury as Hayward draws a walk. And Tommy Pham has now run into some offensive troubles, so I think Mike Matheny's trying to work it out a little bit here with Hayward, and it opens the door for Piscotty in right field as well.
Yeah, and Matt Holliday, not sure what his situation is going to be in the postseason. Tough problems to have, right? If you're Mike Matheny, they're probably going to win the division. It's a matter where everybody's going to be able to play.
So here is Randall Grichuk, who is in that mix in the outfield, and he's been a very good hitter for Matheny and the Cardinals. He's one of the many players the Cardinals have called on this year, coming either out of their minor league system or out of their reserve role. And Grichuk with 17 homers and 47 runs batted in. A little bit of an unorthodox setup at the plate, but he puts all the pieces together in a big way. This guy's got as much power as any player they have.
Yeah, not big or not tall, I should say, but strong. You have your bench players all of a sudden starting, and it normally weakens your bench, but that really hasn't been the case for St. Louis.
Hayward is a base stealer. He's one of the few the Cardinals have. He and Colton Wong. So Cravey knows he's got to keep him close. There's Grichuk. Holds that bat flat.
Right, but then he's going to bring it up when he's ready to swing. A lot of guys don't. Everybody starts a little bit differently, but all good hitters are in the same spot when they're ready to swing. Just how you want to get there.
Grichuk's been battling elbow problems. Mike Matheny told us yesterday that it's not something that's going to require surgery. Just had some inflammation, some tendonitis in there, and he couldn't throw. And he still is not throwing at 100%. He has a very good arm. Matter of fact, has one of the better arms on the team, but his 50 to 70% throw is about 100 and 120 feet, and that's really all he needs to hit the cutoff man. And They'd rather have his bat in the lineup and a guy who's not throwing the ball as well as he can.
Well, the Cardinals saying he doesn't need surgery. That means he's going to have surgery in November.
No question. That's right. Get Dr. Andrews on the phone.
Yeah,
right?
just like Carlos Martinez's injury wasn't serious a couple of nights ago.
Just a little tightness. Cardinals shut down Martinez the rest of the regular season and the postseason. He will not pitch again this year. But no surgery required. We did have a nice chat with John Mozeliak before the game, the fine Cardinal general manager. And he's got high hopes for Adam Wainwright. Thinks he could be a nice boost to their bullpen. He went through a second simulated game yesterday and he pitched well. And on the same day they lose Martinez, it looks like Wainwright is on his way to returning to the active roster. Cravey walks, Grichuk back-to-back walks with 2 outs.
Well, again, this is something you just can't do. You can't do it to any ball club, but you can't allow the Cardinals extra at-bats, extra bases with the walks. Now you got Matt Adams, a guy with incredible power up there with a couple of men on. Was able to get the first 2, but back-to-back walks has him in trouble in the first.
Adams gets a nice hand. He's one of the fan favorites here in St. Louis.
Base on balls was a problem for Wagner yesterday in the first inning.
2 on, 2 out. And Maldonado on his way out again. He has been making frequent trips to the mound, and you can understand why. The Brewers have 6 rookie pitchers in their rotation. It's news that they have a 6-man rotation, and it's bigger news that all 6 of them are rookies.
Right. They're trying to calm him down a little bit. I think maybe Cravey rattled a little bit with that fly ball, that deep fly ball by Piscotty. He hasn't been able to throw strikes since. And getting behind the count again.
You realize the Cardinals facing all these rookies with the Reds and the Brewers. This is their 7th consecutive game facing a rookie pitcher. And they are playing pretty well during that stretch.
Right.
As well. They're 4-2.
Well, that'll change when they go to Pittsburgh.
That is a big showdown series coming up between the Cardinals and the Pirates. That starts tomorrow. Jay Happ and Lance Lynn will match up tomorrow night. Charlie Morton and Michael Wacha match up Tuesday, and then Wednesday is Garrett Cole against Tyler Lyons. So that's the big 3-game series between these 2 teams. And now Rick Kranitz is on his way out after falling behind on Adams 2-0.
And Rick Kranitz had to make an early trip to the mound yesterday in the first inning.
He probably would have made 3 or 4 had they let him. You got to take a pitcher out after 2 trips. Cravey's thrown 18 pitches, 13 of them out of the strike zone. But he does have 2 men out. Two and 0 to Adams. Swing and a miss. Took something off there on a 2-0 pitch. He had courage enough to throw a changeup.
Yep, pulled the string on him, and Adams out in front. You figure Adams' timing's going to be off. He hadn't played much.
And another one and a swing and a miss. 2-2 the count. Do you go for 3 in a row?
Why not? Put it in the dirt, see what happens.
2-2 with 2 outs. 2 men on base. And a ground ball to second. And that will retire the side. So Cravey walks 2, gets a little mound visit, and recovers in a scoreless first. on Friday night hit a 9th-inning homer off of Trevor Rosenthal. That was in a 3-3 game. Davis made it 4-3 Brewers on his 24th home run on the Powerball home run leaderboard. And Davis helping the Brewers win that game on Friday, showing tremendous rocket opposite field power.
A line drive home run off of Trevor Rosenthal, the Powerball home run leaderboard. Chris Davis, only one behind Ryan Braun, has a pretty good chance of passing Brawny.
He might just pass him here today. John Lackey, a 3-up, 3-down first inning with a strikeout of Lind. Had a couple of ground balls and a strikeout. And now Davis, Santana, and Perez coming up for Milwaukee. High fly ball, left center field. Hayward on the run. He looks up. Goodbye. Number 25. Chris Davis does it again. And the Brewers strike first here this afternoon against Lackey and the Cardinals.
Wow, he's something. That kid's strong. Weighted back nicely on a slider. And it just kept going out there in the center field. He just tied Ryan Braun. He's got 6+ games to pass him. Breaking pitch. Davis waits back and gives the Brewers a 1-0 lead. The last couple of months for Chris Davis, unbelievable. Incredible numbers with the homers.
Domingo Santana on a beautiful play by Wong, but a bad throw. And Santana will reach. Boy, Wong, impressive to glove that ball.
And he's standing right there. He had the shift. The easy part was the throw. And you got a guy over there at first base, Matt Adams, with a quad issue, and that's not going to help. This ball pretty much right at him. That was a tough part of the play, the backhand pickup, and that's just a terrible throw. He had plenty of time, and Santana on. They're going to give Wong another error. Errors are a problem for the Cardinals.
Wong made a couple of sparkling plays in yesterday's Cardinal win. Maybe turned that one into something more than it should have been. I know one thing, he wasn't going to get in front of that ball. That thing had some heat on it. So he picked it, and a throwing error allows Santana to reach.
Well, he threw it flat-footed and sidearm, and he didn't have to do that. He had plenty of time.
Here's Hernan Perez now, and Santana takes off, line shot right to the shortstop Garcia. That's an easy double play. Brewers got bit right there. And Perez hit it sharply.
Yeah, not much you can do. Good at bat by Perez. Hit it right on the nose, but unfortunately turns into a double play. Brewers trying to make something happen. Why not? Get something going, move base runners around, see if you can open up a hole. Just tough luck.
So 2-men are out now, and here is Martin Maldonado. Maldonado swung the bat well yesterday. One of the few Brewers that had success against Garcia. Maldonado and Jonathan Lucroy with multi-hit games. Maldi had 2 hits in 3 at-bats. Lucroy was 3 for 4 yesterday. And the Cardinals only gave up 7 hits, 5 of those coming from their 2 catchers.
And Maldi doing a nice job behind home plate, blocking pitches, trying to navigate these young guys through games and coming up with some hits. He's got that batting average up over 200. Nobody wants to end the year on the interstate. I can tell you by personal experience.
The interstate.
You don't want to have that baseball card the following year have won anything.
The one looks like an I, and they're the interstate. I get it. I get it. There's a call, strike 3. Maldonado is rung up. And the side is retired, but Chris Davis does it again. The home run binge continues. His 25th of the season. His 18th since August 6th. 1-0 Brew Crew. Davis hits his 25th. That was not the case last night for Jesus Montero. Our Columbia St. Mary's worth another look. This was the Angels and the Mariners, and one of the greatest Mike Trout catches of his young career. That was something special right there.
Climbing the wall, digging the cleats into the padding, and able to make the catch. Nice job.
The amazing Mike Trout.
Anybody better?
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
What do you say he's the best player in baseball?
I think we can. I think we could safely put him in that grouping.
Top 3,
no
top
doubt.
2.
Colton Wong leads off for St. Louis, and there is a strike. It's 0-2. Gravy working around 2 walks in the first inning. It's going to be a great race for the MVP in the American League. Josh Donaldson and Mike Trout. Looks like Harper's got the MVP wrapped up in the National League. The Angels needed that win, though. They needed that catch in that win. They got a walk-off homer from a former Cardinal last night, David Freese. And it was his first walk-off home run since he did it in the World Series against the Texas Rangers back in 2011.
You still see David Freese jerseys around here at the ballpark.
What a moment. Game 6 in that 11 World Series.
Yeah.
So Wong, a strikeout victim, the first of the day for Cravey.
Saw Lance Berkman here yesterday.
Yeah, he threw out the ceremonial first pitch.
It was Lance Berkman bobblehead day. That was Berkman here 2 years. Made a big impact, though.
One of the great switch hitters all time, Lance Berkman. Here's Garcia. Garcia gets to start at shortstop today. Johnny Peralta is out of the lineup, gets a day off. Peralta is a guy who plays a lot, though, and Garcia gets a chance this afternoon. Ground ball right to Segura on a hop, and there is out number 2. Here's Tony Cruz. Speaking of guys getting playing time now, plenty of it. Yadier Molina's out with the thumb injury. Torn ligaments in the thumb. He's hopeful to come back. That is going to be very questionable whether he can return and be the impact player. I'm not doubting he'll return, but will he be the impact player he has been for St. Louis?
Well, he hasn't been really the impact player that he's been all year, has he? Hasn't really been swinging the bat all that well, particularly lately. But Mike Matheny's comfortable with Tony Cruz. Might have no choice. The beating that left thumb has on catchers. People don't realize how much of a beating that thumb takes in that catcher's mitt. But he did it on the bases.
Yeah, he was tagging a runner out. He originally injured that thumb last year sliding into third base. That was the bad ligament tear that he had last season. Knocked him out for 6 weeks. He's been playing this year, but he has not been hitting like he normally does. And then last Sunday, a week ago today, had a play at the plate. He was taking a throw from Hayward from right. He tagged Rizzo and re-injured the thumb. And that might be a problem that he'll deal with the rest of his career, but because of what you said, it's not just the tag of the runner sliding in last week at Wrigley Field. It's that cumulative effect of catching pitchers like Garcia who are just wearing out the thumb.
Yeah, the sinker ballers, sometimes you're not sure how to catch it, and it really puts a big impact on that thumb.
1-2 pitch, and it's in the air, center field, well hit. Schaefer looks up, it's off the wall, takes a big bounce, and Cruz thinking about third. He's on his way, and he will make it. It's a 2-out triple for Tony Cruz.
Well, Cruz with a double in yesterday's ball game, and now taking a breaking pitch from Tyler Cravey and nearly hitting it out of here right at the base of the wall out in center field, but the Good news for Cravey is he got a pitcher coming up. Pitcher coming up with 2 outs.
First triple of the year for Tony Cruz, and like Maldonado, a backup catcher who's playing a lot now, trying to get his batting average up over the Mendoza line. John Lackey at the plate. And he pops him up in the infield. It's going to be in foul territory. Maldonado's got it, and that will retire the side. So Cravey with 2 scoreless in the books has a strikeout. Brewers lead 1-0 at Busch. Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. By Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. And by Hupy and Abraham. 800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. Downtown St. Louis, it is 1-0 Brewers on a Chris Davis home run. And we're headed to the 3rd inning. Hey, a reminder here, Fox Sports Wisconsin is proud to partner with Girls on the Run Greater Milwaukee to empower girls to be healthy and confident. Join us for the Girls on the Run Fall 5K on Sunday, November 15th at Bayshore Town Center in Glendale. To register, visit foxsportswisconsin.com. Click on the upcoming events tab. Chris Davis hit a 417-foot home run, right about where that camera is coming from. Long homer by Davis, his 25th of the year, gives the Brewers the early lead. Yadiel Rivera will lead off for Milwaukee.
A little bit hard to tell how the wind's affecting the baseball, here today. It is blowing, but sometimes it looks like it's blowing in from right, and other flags looks like it's coming in from left. But the wind didn't help that one at all. Davis hit that one right on the money.
Now you could tell by the way Tony Cruz's ball stayed in. When Davis hits him, there's no ballpark that can hold him, no matter the wind or the conditions. When he hits him squarely, and he hit that one squarely. Ground ball to the shortstop, Garcia. Yadiel Rivera is out. Out number 1 in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, neither team took batting practice today, so not much going on. But Garcia was taking ground balls at short, and he was throwing them over to Matt Adams. Two guys that looking to be ready for today's game. Adams hasn't played a whole lot of first base since his return, and Garcia just wanted to get some angles over there at shortstop.
Yeah, yesterday during the Wainwright simulated game, they had Garcia and Matt Adams in the simulated game. And I was thinking, if Mike Matheny's trying to get Matt Adams' confidence at the plate, I'm not sure rolling him out there against Adam Wainwright is a good way to do it. He was abusing him with that curveball.
Yeah, just to see live pitching.
As a called strike 3, Lackey making quick work of Tyler Cravey, his mound opponent.
Hitters hate that, and nobody likes that. Hey, reserve your spot at Miller Park for the final series of the year. This against the Chicago Cubs. This coming Friday, October 2nd through Sunday the 4th. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or go to Brewers.com today. Chris Bryant and the division rival Cubs.
The Rookie of the Year, Chris Bryant, a runaway train for that award this season. Cubs have the Pirates tonight at Wrigley. That's a key matchup. Although for the Cubs, it's pretty much a long shot at this point. And they've clinched postseason berth. There's Schaefer with a base hit. So a clean single with 2 outs. Schaefer is aboard. He's 1 for 2 here today. That'll get Segura to the plate. All right, we'd never hear anything like this from any clubhouse of these 3 Central Division teams that are going to the playoffs. But if you're the Chicago Cubs, would you rather face the Cardinals in a 1-game playoff here at Busch or the Pirates in a 1-game playoff at PNC?
From what we've seen lately,
yeah,
St. Louis.
I'm with you. As Segura pops up in foul territory. Couldn't agree more. We'll see how it all pans out.
Brewers on deck. 2016 is Sunday, January 31st at the Wisconsin Center in downtown Milwaukee. If you purchase tickets by December 1st, you will get a voucher good for a game ticket for a select 2016 April home game. For details, go to Brewers.com/on-deck.
We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning, and second time through the batting order now for Tyler Cravey. Matt Carpenter leads off. Piscotty to follow, and then Hayward. And on the first pitch, Carpenter into left center field. Schaefer runs it down for the out.
It's such a good jump on a baseball. It really does. Makes those look easy. Carpenter got that one down trademark just a little bit. Cravey hasn't had a problem getting a leadoff hitter. Matter of fact, first 2 hitters in the first and second inning, but that third out has been a bit of a challenge for him.
Here's Piscotty. Fly ball, right field, almost the same spot. Back is Santana, and he's got this one. Boy, Piscotty has 2 long fly ball outs to right field, right in front of the wall on both occasions.
Yep, hang with him. Everybody in the dugout saying good swing, but he's 0 for 2. Keep him away from the lines, and you have a shot at keeping him in the ballpark in this place, unless you're Chris Davis.
Two pitches, 2 outs for Tyler Cravey. Walked 2 in the first inning with 2 away. Gave up a triple with 2 outs in the second inning. So he's looking for a 2-out finish of Jason Hayward to get through the third. We're talking about that Cardinals Pirates tiebreaker potential. If the Pirates end up coming back and they tie for the division, they'll have a 1-game playoff. Right now that season series is tied at 8-8, and they have 3 games to play coming up Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That will determine home field if that tiebreaker happens. You could tie for the best record in the major leagues and have to play a tiebreaker game and a wild card play-in game in this scenario.
Right.
Wow.
A little bit different over the American League for the wild card. Let's see, Yankees in Houston at this point. Angels a half game back. Twins game and a half. And Cleveland's a game over 500, and they're within 3 games of the wild card. Of course, they have a couple of teams to hop over.
American League wild card setting has the Yankees looking very good to make it into that wild card game, but that second spot is wide open right now. There are a ton of games that have implications for that spot. Astros are hosting Texas today, and then Houston goes on the road to finish their season. They have a terrible road record this season. Rangers have a 1-0 lead in that game, by the way, in Houston. There's ball 4. It's another 2-out base runner. All 4 base runners for the Cardinals have come with 2 outs in the inning.
He needs to be very wary of throwing strikes to Jason Hayward. A couple of walks. 3 walks already for Cravey.
3 2-out walks and a 2-out triple. So he will face Grichuk with Hayward at first. You might see Hayward try to run here. It's an interesting contrast between Cravey and Taylor Youngman. They stand on opposite sides of the rubber. Youngman works off the third base side. Cravey's on the extreme first base side. His toe is barely making contact with the pitching rubber.
It's all a matter of angles. What angle are you more comfortable with? With Youngman, he's got that baseball with that high 3/4 delivery, slings it in there. The ball is actually coming at an angle across home plate. Not so much for Cravey. It's amazing what switching sides of the rubber will do for guys. I mean, that's one of the first things that a pitching coach will do when a guy's really having a difficult time. They did it with Loesch.
Did it with Youngman. Youngman used to be on the first base side.
Try and move him around different angles. The pitching rubber 24 inches long, so that's a big difference when you consider where these guys are setting up. The angles can be drastically different.
Maybe the most notable right now is Jake Arrieta. The Orioles always wanted him on the Cravey side of the rubber where Tyler Cravey sets up. But the Cubs moved him over to the other side, and it changed everything. I was talking to Chris Bosio about it. The way Arrieta throws, there's a little more deception. He's got a little bit of crossfire action like Youngman does, and hitters having a tough time picking it up, and he has great stuff anyway. It put everything back in his lanes, according to Chris Bosio, just being on that side of the rubber for Arrieta. It's interesting when you talk about pitching lanes, if you draw parallel lines from the rubber to the plate, and you figure, well, you set up right in the middle and those are your lanes, but for Arrieta, it was always awkward for him on the first base side. Much better for him on the third base side.
But you don't normally see a guy move in the middle of the season, which is what Kyle Oates did. Just trying to find something out there in the mound.
Full count to Grichuk with Hayward at first. They're going to play behind Hayward here, and I'm sure he'll be taken off. 2 outs. Lynn's not going to give up that hole, and Grichuk fouls it away.
And cover as much territory as you can. He's going to be running anyway, and no sense in holding him on. Now you're close enough to just make him aware that you're behind him.
With Hayward's speed, that always brings into play an extra base hit scoring a run when he can start with the 3-2 count. There he goes, and a swing and a foul tip right into the middle. Maldonado for a strikeout. So Cravey, he's had his problems with 2 outs, but he's got 3 scoreless on the board. .17-foot home run back in the 2nd inning. Carsoup.com trivia: who holds the Brewers single season record for fewest at-bats per home run? Great question, timely question, with Chris Davis averaging about a homer every 9 at-bats in this stretch from August 6th. So it's actually better than that now. 8.6 at-bats since August 6th.
That's amazing.
18 home runs since that time. His playing time really increased after Parra was traded at the trade deadline at the end of July. He had 10 homers in the month of August and didn't hit his first till August 6th.
Yeah, pretty much cementing his spot out in left field for next year, I got to believe. I mean, with the way he's been swinging the bat. It was an important couple of months for Chris. Show everybody he's healthy and he can swing the bat. He's certainly done it.
And he is a guy that needs playing time. He does not perform well in a platoon or in a pinch hit role. At least that's what he's shown early in his career.
And just leave him in there, and you take the bad stretches, but you're going to get the good ones as well.
You have to be able to hit home runs like that to be able to stay in the lineup in that scenario. He's not a great defender. Now he'll run balls down, but he doesn't throw well. And typically he has to come out of a game for defensive purposes if the Brewers have a lead late. So when all those things are against you, you've got to do something extraordinary. And Chris Davis does something that most players do not. That's hit home runs with high frequency.
And he's hit some big ones. I mean, real big ones a couple of nights ago. And he's hit some home runs in this stretch of 2 months that have given the Brewers leads, tied games late. He's got a good disposition, Chris Davis. Doesn't say a whole lot. Lets his bat do his talking.
Lackey against Lind. 2-2 the count. Adam leading off this fourth inning for the Brewers. And a swing and a miss. He struck him out. Second time he has punched out Lind. That's strikeout number 4 for Lackey. He's had a strikeout in each of the first 4 innings. Chris Davis is finding the barrel in this series. On Friday, that home run that ended up winning the game, the 9th inning homer off Rosenthal, 102.5 miles an hour off the bat. This one actually went further. It was a half mile per hour slower exit speed, but it goes a little bit further, 417 feet. And that one is ripped into left field and right at Richard for the out.
And right back to the breaking pitch to Lackey. He's thinking to himself, he hit it the first time. He's not going to do it again, and he hit it hard to left. Hit the home run off of Rosenthal. What was that, 97, 98 miles an hour? He hit his home run today on a Lackey slider. So a big difference in velocity might account for the difference in the exit velocity.
There you go. That's a good word. Domingo Santana with 2 away. And he hits that one hard into left field. Santana has barreled up twice now. First one was an error on Wong. This time a clean single, a 2-out base hit for Domingo Santana.
Yeah, Lackey making some mistakes with that breaking pitch today. He's got such a good two-seamer. Maybe trying to work on it. I'm not sure. 82 miles an hour.
Hernan Perez. First ball swinging, pop up, foul territory. Adams is there on his way into the dugout. And will retire the side. Bottom of the 4th coming from St. Louis. The Brewers lead 1-0. A little bit. 3 innings for Cravey out of the game. And it's going to be Kyle Loesch on the mound for Milwaukee. And it is now time for you to tweet us your strongest fan photo Use hashtag WisDataStrongFan. You just might see yourself at an upcoming broadcast, and it's all brought to you by T-Mobile. I don't think it is an injury situation for Cravey. I think the idea is that it is a bullpen day today with Cravey not being built back up as a starter. Maybe they're trying to take him down and protect his innings. So if it is an injury, we'll pass it along. But Loesch is in as we go to the Cardinal half of the fourth inning.
Yeah, I think it was laid out like this. Kyle Loesch the first out of the bullpen. He last pitched on Tuesday against the Cubs. 3 innings, 1 run. And his last 13 appearances have all come out of the bullpen in relief.
So Cravey goes 3 scoreless and seems to do his best pitching here in St. Louis. Went 7 innings and just 1 run in his first major league start.
But got a run this time. He's been shut out 3 times in his starts this year. Twice by the Cardinals, once by Jake Arrieta and the Cubs.
Adams takes a ball high. I was thinking about Loesch last night. I don't know if we were showing you that home run saving catch by Mike Trout, but later in that game, Houston Street was injured badly. Does not look like he's going to be able to return this year. Had a leg injury. Had to come out of the game. And the Angels have all kind of problems in their bullpen with injuries. Joe Smith is down, and now Houston Street. And I was thinking about Loesch, who would not be postseason eligible for the Angels, but that might be a guy the Angels would look at. Somebody for the last week to try to help the Angels make that push. I mean, it's hard to acquire a guy in the final week of the season.
Right.
But the Angels are right there. They're in it. They're just a half game behind the Astros for the second wild card spot. Adams hits it sharply to center. Base hit to start the 4th inning against Loesch.
Adams was having a difficult time with the fastball around the belt, and that time Loesch left one down around the knees, and Adams able to get to that one. You know, his timing's got to be off. He hasn't played a whole lot, just trying to get it back, and Kyle threw one right in his wheelhouse.
Colton Wong now with a runner at first. A strikeout victim in the 2nd inning, and a swing and a miss.
Yeah, if that actually did happen, that would be one of the latest trades in baseball history.
Right.
A week left. But why not? Kyle do it.
It's the only time you ever see anything like that is when you're in an extreme injury personnel situation, and then you're just trying to get to the end. Because look, if you make it to the playoffs, obviously the Angels are going to have to be in a wild card setting. They're not going to win their division. It doesn't look like. So if you end up in the postseason as the wild card team, you play that one game, things are different. Your roster's different. You get into the division series, then you have off days. That's a little flare that is going to fall, a base hit. 2 on. Back-to-back singles against Loesch.
Speed pitch that time. Wong able to wait back and just dump it into center field. He's been a struggling hitter. Adams hit a fastball and Wong on a breaking pitch. Changeup.
Garcia swinging at the first pitch. He fouls it away. Greg Garcia. Two on, nobody out, and a foul ball. Long run for Perez, and it's out of his reach. No balls and 2 strikes. Garcia trying to make the Cardinals postseason roster. They've got some decisions to make with their personnel. And the one thing Garcia has in his favor, he is a good shortstop. So you'd like to have a little insurance there for Johnny Peralta.
Yep, and you have an aging shortstop who's been healthy all year. And be a lot of tough calls for the Cardinals.
0-2 the count. And a ground ball. Lynn's got it. Go to second base. Out there, and that's all they'll get as
barrel roll.
Wrong with an old school barrel roll on Gene Segura.
Yeah, you can't do that. I mean, they could have definitely caught a double play on that. I mean, that's especially coming for doing it. You know, he's a second baseman himself. I mean, a middle infielder. You can hurt somebody doing that. The leg whipping around, and check him out. He's got a good jump and wants to roll. That's not something you're supposed to be able to do. I mean, he could have been called out, and the guy at first.
That is something that you would take exception to if you're Gene Segura and the Brewers.
No doubt.
Especially this time of year. Now that was common a couple of decades ago, up until a couple of decades.
Well, common, but still, you know, out of the realm of an ordinary play. I mean, you can hurt somebody doing that. You know, the leg whip coming around, you can break somebody's leg.
That's how Dwayne Kuiper got injured badly. The Giants broadcaster who was an infielder with the Indians. Second baseman. Loesch facing Tony Cruz, who tripled his last time up. This is the key out for Loesch right here. He's got the pitcher Lackey on deck. See if he can get Cruz to hit into a ground ball double play to win the inning. That would be ideal for him. And a wave and a miss. 2-1.
This is where that two-seamer that Kyle Loesch had his first couple of years with the Brewers had come in handy to get that ground ball. Hadn't been able to do that nearly as much this year.
The former Cardinal, Kyle Loesch, he had some good years here. 2 balls and a strike, and Cruz fouls it away. First and third, 1 man out. Here's the 2-2, and Cruz, that's right off the end of the bat. And Rivera's only play is first, and that's going to get the tying run home.
They did a good job putting in play, and there's no way you're going to get a double play on that. Good pitch by Loesch, but you know, Cruz able to get a bat on it and drive in the run.
RBI ground out for Tony Cruz. 1-1 ball game now. Be an earned run on Loesch. 2 outs in the inning, and here is the pitcher Lackey. First ball swinging, fly ball right field, but playable for Santana, and that will retire the side. So Loesch gives up a run on 2 hits, and we're all tied at 1 in St. Louis. brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. And by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly.
Well, tied at 1 here in the 5th inning at Busch Stadium. And every weeknight, don't miss MLB Whip Around on Fox Sports 1 with highlights, instant analysis, and live look-ins from around the league. MLB Whip Around is weeknights at 6 p.m. Central on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Well, Ryan Braun, big story today for the Brewers. A tight back that's going to require surgery. He's got a herniated disc, and he has been shut down for the rest of the season. So he'll finish his season with 25 home runs and 84 driven in.
Good season.
It was good bounce back season for him.
Yep.
All tied at 1 here at Busch Stadium, St. Louis. Last matchup of the year between the Brewers and the Cardinals. We go to the 5th. Martin Maldonado will lead off. Takes a first pitch breaking ball in there for a strike. Keeping an eye on some pennant chase games around the big leagues here today as Maldonado grounds to third. And Carpenter makes the play for out number 1. They got an important game going on in Houston, Texas today, Minute Maid Park. Astros have taken the lead there 2-1. Dallas Keuchel is on the mound for the Astros. He is their ace, potential Cy Young Award winner, and he has set the Astros franchise record for strikeouts by a left-hander in a season. And Keuchel and the Astros lead 2-1 over the Rangers. In that division, Texas has the lead. They're 3.5 up on Houston. And they are 4 up on the Angels. So that's a good race. That one figures to come down to the end. I don't think anybody expected the Rangers to be the team representing the American League West. But they've got a chance. They're right there, sitting pretty.
I don't think anybody expects Houston Astros to be where they're at.
Rivera grounds to short. And out number 2.
Hey, today's time of the game winner, Pudgy's Pub in Appleton, and if they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours. Pudgy's Pub, I had to say that twice. We'll get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to an April and May 2016 Brewers home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Nachos.
Ran into a bunch of Brewers fans walking around town yesterday. By the way, good job on the Fox 1 game.
Oh, thanks, Rock. You were watching, huh?
I was watching.
Wait, you said you were just walking around the ballpark.
Well, I was, but then we went somewhere where the game was on. I didn't say I stayed the whole game, but no, during the day yesterday, went over to the barbecue festival on Market Street.
Right.
Here.
I heard about that.
And there were a bunch of Brewers fans taking pictures with barbecue sauce all over my face. And
nice.
had a good time.
What kind of barbecue did you go for yesterday in St. Louis?
Well, let's see. I had four ribs. I had some sausage. I had some brisket, some pulled pork. What didn't I have?
And a defibrillator.
Right, yeah. It was fun. Good times.
They got great barbecue here, no doubt. Kyle Loesch got a nice hand as he was introduced. Batting for the first time. Now, they're not as famous for the burnt ends here like Kansas City, right? Or is that?
Well, it was interesting the way they had it set up. Now, I've had burnt ends here. They got a couple of places I like to go to here, and but the way it was set up, I mean, every stand had a different thing. One stand had ribs and coleslaw, another stand had pulled pork. So you go to the different vendor based on what you felt like eating. Sausages. They had smoked salmon.
What kind of animal you chose to consume? It was divided by animals.
Well, basically, it's eat pork or fish, a pig or a fish.
Okay. Loesch strikes out.
I had it all.
Oh man, what a great story, Rock. I can't wait to hear more. Burnt ends.
crew in the community. The Roberto Clemente dedicated his life to helping others in honor of the late Hall of Famer and humanitarian. Major League Baseball annually bestows the Roberto Clemente Award presented by Chevrolet to the player who best represents the game of baseball through sportsmanship, community involvement, and positive contributions both on and off the field. A player from each club was nominated, and the Brewers nominee for 2015 is Jonathan Lucroy. Fan voting and a special selection committee will determine the national winner, who will be announced at the World Series. To vote for Jonathan to be this year's Roberto Clemente Award winner, visit ChevyBaseball.com. B.A.
All right, Telly, thanks. And great work by Jonathan Lucroy. It's a very prestigious honor.
Well, a lot of the Brewer players, participate in a lot of those things, but Lucroy certainly doesn't take a back seat to anybody in baseball, in my mind.
Loesch facing the top of the Cardinals order with Carpenter. There's Lucroy. He started at first base yesterday. Had 3 hits. Won't see him behind the plate the rest of the year, but he will place him first. And boy, he continues to hit. That's why I wanted to get back in there. I like what you said in our pregame show. And Carpenter fouls it off his foot. They've shut Braun down looking ahead to 2016, but for Lucroy coming back from concussion, you said it's personal for him, and that's a great way to put it, because he's got some questions to answer before he starts next season.
Prove to himself, right, that he's going to be all right. You don't want to be sitting around all winter without getting back at it. You want to see how he feels up at the plate, play some first base. The Brewers don't want to risk having him be hit by another foul tip, so you're not going to see him behind home plate. Let's swing the bat well.
0-2 pitch. Carpenter into left field. Hit well. Davis cannot get there. And it bounces out. A ground rule double for Matt Carpenter on an 0-2 pitch.
It just kept pouring into strikes. First 3 pitches all strikes. And that one, a fastball out over the plate. A little bit up in the strike zone. Kyle having a difficult time right now getting his pitches down. And Carpenter drives that one over the head of Davis.
Steven Piscotty takes a strike. Piscotty has hit 2 long fly ball outs to right. Both of them would have been off the wall, but Santana ran them both down. First one was a great catch. Second one, Santana got a good jump and made it look routine. And Piscotty on the ground to short, and Segura's coming to third base in a base running blunder by Carpenter. He hesitated, and that cost him in an excellent play by Gene Segura.
And making a good throw to third base. Well, you're taught that you go if a ball's hit behind you. You can see he waits just too long. I mean, once that ball hits the ground, you just go back. If he takes off right away, he's going to be safe at third base, but he wasn't sure it was going to be caught. Once it hits the ground, too late to go. Good heads-up play by Segura.
Carpenter's not running well either. He's got a bad hip. Cardinals are going to take a look at this actually to see if his foot got in there. I thought the same thing when I saw the play live, that was going to be closer than I originally thought, because the tag was so high on Carpenter.
New wave baseball, that used to be an out every time. I mean, if the ball beats you, he wants to go to the replay. They're going to look at it.
No, this is not good. The Cardinals feel like he got in there. And if that's the case, and this ends up first and third with nobody out, that is a major mistake by Perez. Well, the foot came off the bag, though.
Right, it did.
So I think that's where the out is going to lie. But
well, he got the foot in initially, but the foot came off the bag, and Perez still had the ball, the tag on the runner.
Well, here in St. Louis, they showed the replay, but then they cut off of it right after the point where it showed. I mean, this is classic home team manipulation of the fans here.
Right. Surprising it happens in St. Louis. It's going to be an out, though.
They've run 3 replays. I don't blame them.
Yeah, right.
And they cut off the part where his foot pops off the bag.
And I think Mike Matheny's replay crew forgot about it too. That didn't take long either.
These fans, I mean, that's you know, you take your chance and you try to get the fans on your side. But remember, it doesn't come from the umpires here in St. Louis. Once it goes to a challenge,
so the Cardinals are out of challenges the rest of the way.
That is another mistake. I'm not sure how you don't see that in the Cardinals clubhouse as they're looking at replays. I mean,
initially it was safe. You're right. I mean, but the foot came off the bag, and Perez kept the tag on the runner, and he was out. No mistake by the Cardinals video crew.
And the umpires in New York, they're not going to be influenced by the crowd here. Hayward lines one right field. That is foul. Barely. Wow, Hayward hit that like a bullet.
Almost knocked the wall down. Boy, he's strong. Boy, he's swinging a bit better right now than he was early in the year. He couldn't pull the ball if he had to, or he tried, but now it's a lot different. Not only going to left field very well, tomahawks that high fastball, rips it down the line.
So a 1 out, 0-2 the count on Hayward. Foul territory. Perez over, and it will walks that one into the seats.
You know, lesson learned for Hernan Perez. I mean, what you do in a case like that, you drop the glove in front of the bag. You don't reach for the body in that situation. It looked like he was trying to avoid contact as well.
You're right.
So you learn from that and don't make that mistake again. He got away with it.
Those are habits by players because of the way the game's been called forever.
Right.
Even a guy like Perez, a young guy, but you know, he's played his whole life, and throw beats you like that, it's an out. So you really never had to worry about making that tag in those split seconds before he hit the base. And you wouldn't even have to worry about that in the minor leagues.
Right.
There's no replay in the minor leagues. But here in the big leagues, you can see that, and you can see when a leg pops up. Base runners are having to relearn how they slide even. You've got to slide. John Shelby was talking about this fact the other day. You've got to learn how to slide the old-fashioned pop-up slide where you're going in feet first and your foot never leaves the base. Used to be an infielder would pop a tag on a player and show the ball to the umpire, show the glove as soon as he could to show that he made the tag. Now you got to keep the glove on the player, the base runner, as he's coming in.
Yep, Gene Segura's learned that lesson this year. Made that mistake about a month ago, I would say, and since that time he's been able to keep the tag on the runner as he goes by the bag.
One of those things you only learn in the big leagues with replay. Hayward breaks his bat. Schaefer's got to hurry, and he can't get it. Base hit. Throw to second. Back is Piscotty. Another flare falls against Loesch. That's the second in as many innings.
Yeah, Wong had one. Now Piscotty breaks his bat, or Haywood breaks his bat. So first and second. So a good heads-up play by Segura keeps the Cardinals off the board. A racing Carpenter trying to go to third base. Now he's got to get his double play here.
Two on, one out. Randall Grichuk at the plate. Those stepping into the deep waters here in the fifth. You got power hitters and Grichuk and Adams due up next. Ground ball to third. Chance to turn it. Gotta turn it. 5-4-3 it goes. And Loesch and the Brewers get out of the inning on an around the horn double play. A scoreless fifth despite 2 hits. Perez to Rivera. Over to first and Lind and Grichuk. 2 outs, 1 swing of the bat. All tied at 1 going to the 6th.
I mean, he's been impressive in the time that he's been up here making throws. Play anywhere, but check this throw out. Once he gets it from Hernan Perez, flat-footed, and that is a rocket over to first base, right on the money. I like that kid's arm. He can throw.
Slings it over to first base.
Effortless and a lot on it.
Looked like Steve Cishek right there. Yadiel Rivera. He's been kind of the forgotten man in the shortstop carousel in the Brewer system, and he's played a lot of second with Arcia this year at Double-A and a lot of third base.
We saw him in spring training, and we're impressed with his defensive abilities. It's just a matter of whether he's going to be able to hit to stay in the big leagues.
Lackey facing Logan Schaefer, and there's a ground ball through, a base hit. Schaefer does it again. His second hit off Lackey. 2 out of 3, so the move for Craig Counsell to put Schaefer in the leadoff spot has paid off today.
Yep, Lackey getting another pitch up in the zone, and Schaefer able to hit it hard into right. So you have good speed on the bases. Logan's been swinging the bat well. We talk about it all the time when he's in there, but his at-bats have been much better since he's been called up in September.
Give Segura a runner at first. He can do a few things here. Maybe a bunt, maybe a hit and run. I was looking at Schaefer's numbers. So he's having a tough road trip, this road trip, but prior to this trip beginning, he was really swinging it well. And his second stint with the team, he was with the ball club through early May, just got back after the trade deadline when the Brewers traded Gomez and Parra. Schaefer has 5 hits on the road trip now. 5 for 22. And he runs well. Schaefer has great speed. Carries the go-ahead run in the 6th inning. And Segura bunts one foul.
There's a push bunt trying to push it toward Colton Wong. That push bunt toward on the right side. If he gets by the pitcher, pretty good chance you're going to beat it at first base. Was not a bunt for a base hit, or I should say a sacrifice bunt. Got that big hole between first and second, and he uses it pretty well. Just trying to drive one into right. A lot of room over there.
No balls, 2 strikes on Segura. In the dirt, good block back there by Cruz. Segura able to check his swing. Lackey pitching like an ace once again this season. Resurgent 2015. Swing and a miss. Down goes Segura. Strikeout. Schaefer still at first base. Strikeout number 6 for Lackey. As promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag #WisDataStrongFan. It's all brought to you by T-Mobile. And we welcome Jerry to the broadcast. He's the one on the right, Rock.
Yeah, Wolfman.
Wolfman, 69. Segura strikes out. Out number 1. Here's Adam Lind, who has struck out twice. Into left, slicing. Grichuk a long way to go, and Grichuk is there to make the catch in foul territory. Schaefer trying to tag, will make it to second, barely.
Yep, and the Cardinals don't have any challenges. That's the problem that you have when you don't get one overturned early in the ball game. Doesn't matter what the replay shows. That's a nice play by Grichuk, but again, the throwing arm is a little bit suspect right now. That's why Schaefer took advantage of that fly ball to get to second base.
Mike Matheny told Randall Grichuk, under no circumstances are you to air out a throw. I don't think it works when you're in the heat of battle, right? That was a pretty good throw from left field by Grichuk.
Yeah. There's no backing off when you're out there playing a game. I mean, you might be able to say anything you want to a player, but Grichuk gets in that situation. He knows the guy's going to second. He's going to air it out as best he can.
So here is Chris Davis, tied for the club high at homers now with 25 after his home run in the second inning. Lackey has a base open at first. We'll see how aggressive he wants to be on Davis. At the plate, presented by Wendy's. Home run and a line drive out. Both on first pitches from Lackey.
Yeah, not sure Lackey wants to challenge Chris Davis. First couple of pitches, not even close. Home run and a line out to left.
And it's 2-0. Cruz sets up way outside and Lackey misses. 3 balls, no strikes.
That might have been a strike had Tony Cruz been on the plate. He wasn't even set up over home plate. Why not just walk him if you're going to do that, right? And that's on the bench. You know, get behind 2-0, just walk him. If you don't want to pitch to him, just put him on.
And now they will put him on. So an intentional pass. First and second now. That'll bring up Santana. He's had a couple of good at-bats against Lackey today. Santana hit one sharply on the ground on a hop to Wong at second. That was in the second. And he reached on an error by Wong. And then he singled to left field his last time up. Hit that one sharply. Started him with a slider, and Santana's out in front.
It's something you don't see much with Yadier Molina behind home plate. And trying to figure out what to throw in tough spots. Then a lot of looking in, stepping off, rolling through the signs.
Matheny was telling us that Molina's been great for Cruz. He's taken him under his wing. He's really worked through him all season long, not just while he's been injured here. Cruz and Molina are in all of the pitcher meetings every day. And for Cruz, who's a backup and hardly plays when Molina's active, feels like he's a part of it every day. And Molina talks to him a lot. They talk about what's working, what's not working, what the other sees. I don't think Molina needs that, but he knows that Cruz is important. Any backup catcher can be a very important piece if the starter goes down.
And just ask Maldonado, right, early in the year. Lucroy out. They become the guy very quickly.
Lackey wants Cruz to come out. He's not lining up with the pitch sequence here. He's 6'6" Lackey.
And normally Yadier Molina throws down a sign, and there's really no question as to what to do. I mean, pitcher's going to throw it just about every time. A little bit different here, the veteran John Lackey. And Cruz trying to figure out what he wants to do.
2-2 the count, and it's in the dirt, blocked by Cruz. Now the count goes full, and this will get the runners on the move. It's a heads-up move by Schaefer. It was close, but he did advance on that fly ball out to left, that foul ball. And Santana up and in. That almost hit him, and Santana will draw the walk. Check this swing. Base is loaded.
Trying to get him to chase. He really didn't throw him too much over the heart of the plate. One pitch, really. Pitch number 4 was a strike. Everything else out of the strike zone. Trying to get him to chase. He didn't.
could be a good matchup here for Perez. You know, Lackey wants to get ahead of him. Perez loves the swing at the first pitch. Bases loaded, 2 outs, and a swing and a miss. He threw him a breaking ball. Smart. Cardinals did their homework. And that's down the line, foul. Man, he just missed the bag.
Yeah, a couple inches.
0-2 the count on Perez.
Have you ever heard this is a game of inches?
No, I have not.
I just coined it. You
Say that again?
You can use it.
A game of inches.
Yeah. This came to me.
Wow. I mean, it makes perfect sense. That missed by 3 or 4 inches.
Right.
That particular pitch, it was not a game of inches. Bases full of Brewers. We're all tied at 1 in the 6th. And the 1-2 from Lackey. Fouled away. Missed it by inches on the bat.
Maybe in half an inch.
Wow. It almost applies to everything.
Yeah. Base running, fielding.
Sure. Logan Schaefer sliding in safely at second by inches.
Right.
Foul by a few feet. It's a game of feet. Because saying it's a game of centimeters just doesn't have the same ring to it.
Not here.
No.
Not here.
Perez trying to find one he can handle. The 1-2 pitch and a wave and a miss. Lackey went with his bread and butter. Strikes him out. Strand's bases loaded. Still tied at 1 after 5.5. Davis, his 25th homer of the season. Been on a home run binge since early August. And then the Cardinals get a ground ball from Tony Cruz with runners at the corners. Adams able to score. That run belongs to Loesch. And that's where we are. Fatheads are out. And the Cardinals and the Brewers are tied at 1 going to the bottom of the 6th inning. And Rock, a new pitcher on the mound for Milwaukee. So 3 innings for Cravey, the starter. 2 innings for Loesch, giving up a run. And now Corey Knebel.
Yeah, Corey's been pretty good. 47th appearance for Knebel and a .335 earned run average. More strikeouts for him than innings pitched. Flipped up a scoreless inning on Friday here against the Cardinals that included a couple of strikeouts.
Our Marshfield Clinic leaders in relief. Corey Knebel's on the list. 47th appearance behind Smith, Jeffress, and Rodriguez. And those are the three that pitch when the Brewers have a late lead. Knebel trying to get this game to the 7th, tied at 1. He's got Adams to start it, Wong, and then Garcia. Big swing by Big Matt Adams, whose nickname is Big City.
Matheny trying to work Adams and Holiday both in, maybe get him some at bats. Holiday with a couple of doubles yesterday.
Now 2 doubles, 2 RBIs.
Slowly but surely trying to get those guys back before postseason.
There's a shot to right, base hit, and that skips by Santana. Adams on his way to second. That's a misplay in right field. Santana didn't think it had that much heat on it. It didn't hit the ground, just shot to the wall. So instead of a single, Adams is standing at second base.
Yeah, bad effort that time by Santana. I mean, you can't make mistakes like that, kind of drifting over, and the ball just shoots right by him. Kind of a nonchalant effort getting after that one. Now the Cardinals have a man in scoring position with nobody out.
They're going to score that as a double. Peter Borges will pinch run for Adams. And the Cardinals have the go-ahead run in the very speedy Peter Borges. With Colton Wong coming up. Might see Wong try to drop a bunt down here. Oh, he's swinging away. He took a big cut too. Fouls it back.
I think he left-hander up there. If he makes an out, Matheny's thinking is he hits the ball to the right side and advance Borges over to third base.
Fastball popped up. Segura's coming over. Perez makes a call, and there is a big out for Knebel. Gets an out. Borges has to stay put at second base.
Well, now he's going to take a base hit to score him.
Knebel with that big fastball got in on the hands of Wong. Here's Greg Garcia. Curveball strike. Greg Garcia is the son of Dave Garcia.
Yep.
They are from St. Louis. Garcia playing for the team in the city his dad grew up in. Former Brewer coach.
Yeah, manager of the Indians, and used to see Davey a lot in San Diego. I haven't seen him in a couple of years. You know what Davey Garcia is famous for in my world?
What's that?
He was a third base coach when I hit my only triple. We had a stop sign up. He said, "Don't take off." I just kept going, and ball hit me in the back, and my only triple. I know that I've told that story, but this time it's Davey Garcia.
Yeah, right.
He's the highlight of it.
He brings it home. This
Right.
is his grandson. I think I said his son. His grandson is Greg.
Yeah, right.
Not son. Dave's in his 90s now.
Yeah. Heck of a fungo hitter, Davey Garcia.
Is that right?
One of the best.
Who's a better fungo hitter, Dave Garcia or Jimmy Reese?
Jimmy Reese, and Davey Garcia will tell you that. Good old Jimmy.
With the Angels all those years.
Yep. He was there when I was with the Angels. He said he used to room with Babe's luggage.
That's right. Jimmy Reese.
Yeah.
3 balls and a strike on Garcia. And a little chopper. Knebel's got it. And he thought about third, but take the wise out, the sure out. He does so. And the second out of the inning. Borges does advance to third base. But Knebel's got a chance to get out of this one.
Well, you figure the Cardinals are going to go to the bench, so you're going to have to go after Cruz here with first base open. John Jay coming out on the on-deck circle.
Runner at third, 2 outs. Bottom of the 6th inning from St. Louis. There is a lot of interest in this game from the Pittsburgh Pirates, who will play tonight. They'll have to match up against Arrieta tonight at Wrigley. Pirates are 3 back of St. Louis. Cardinals' magic number is 5. And the Cardinals and the Pirates will start a 3-game series tomorrow. Brewers would love to disrupt this pennant race a little bit. Cardinals eliminated the Cubs yesterday from a division title. So it is a 2-horse race now. Swinging a foul. He had a good cut. He was right on it, but he fouls it back, and it's 1-2. Tony Cruz drove in the lone run on a ground out in the 4th inning. Tripled his first time up in the 2nd. The speedy Borges is at third. 2 outs and a 1-2 count. Pitcher spot due next. Foul territory. That's going to end up in the seats.
It makes such a difference when you're throwing in the mid-90s to get that pitch up around the belt as opposed to down. Cruz jammed himself because it was up a little bit.
Borges came in to run for Matt Adams, who doubled to right to start the inning. On a misplay out there by Domingo Santana. 1-2 the count. Curveball fouled away. Big pitch coming here for Knebel. There's a big crowd ready to roar. Knebel trying to get this one to the 7th, all tied. 1-2 on Cruz. Fastball missed high. 2-2. Tyler Cravey started this game, pitched well. He went 3 scoreless. Loesch gave up the run in the 4th. He went 2 innings. Gave up a run on 4 hits. And now Knebel. Another 2-strike pitch. And a curveball and a call. Strike 3. Down he goes. A big bender from Corey Knebel. A strikeout with a runner at third to end the inning. and it's all tied at 1. Got a good game going today. John Lackey has gone the whole way. Brewers have used 3 pitchers. Back to our Carsoup.com trivia. We're looking for the Brewers single season record holder for fewest at-bats per homer. And that would be Prince Fielder, who had a homer in 2007 every 11.5 at-bats. 50 homers that year in 2007.
It was for a single season.
Yeah, the Brewers made the playoffs the next season.
I thought it was career.
That's a trivia question for later.
For the year?
When we get to the end of the season. Mark Reynolds comes in to play first base. Speaking of season numbers, the Cardinals draw 45,000 again today. And for the season, they draw 3.5 million fans.
Yep.
They pack the place just about every night.
And about 3.4 of them all in red.
That's right. Maldonado starts it.
Of course, it is a little deceiving because the seats are red. Except for the really good seats right behind home plate.
Those are green.
The green seats. They take good care of you there. From what I hear.
That's what I understand. They take pretty good care of us here, too, in our seats, which are red. They make you sit in red seats and they make you drink Cardinal water.
It does say Cardinals on the bottled water here. Think a lot of themselves here.
Back up the middle and a base hit for Maldonado. Yeah, Martín Maldonado is starting to hit. Had 2 yesterday. Comes up with a clean single to start the 7th inning.
You figure Maldonado is going to get the lion's share of the playing time the rest of the way. The last week, you figure Ashley is going to get in there from time to time. Martín like to finish strong. Got another year on his deal. He'll be back.
Very good backup catcher. Pressed into a lot of duty this year with the injuries to Lucroy. Maldonado's got so much pine tar on his helmet. I believe he's got a couple of animal crackers on there. Maybe those are goldfish. I can't tell which. Rivera up there to bunt. Bunts it foul. What do you think, Rock? Is that edible?
I think it's a little styrofoam from something. Maybe some asbestos fallen.
Asbestos. Wow.
I don't know.
No,
oh, he found it. I think Reynolds told him, get that stuff off your helmet.
What is that anyway?
Beehive?
Could be. Looks like a beehive. There's a bunt. That's a good one. Reynolds, his only play is first base. And Yadiel Rivera dropped down a sacrifice bunt. Puts a runner at second base for the 9th spot in the order. And Counsell is going to go to his bench here. One of his 8 bench players available. Scooter Gennett will bat. Gennett normally starts against right-handed pitchers, but not today. Counsell wanting to get a look at Rivera. And so Gennett will get his chance here in the 7th inning. He's got a chance to break a 1-1 tie.
And Brewers got a couple of shots at it. And there's activity in the Cardinals bullpen. You know, Mike Matheny is not going to mess around. He's going to let Lackey finish.
Lackey's pitch count in great shape. Only has 81 at this point. I think Matheny was going to pinch hit for him last inning had that spot come up. It did not, so Lackey continues. Maldonado does not run well at second, but the Cardinals outfielders are deep in center, in left field. Cardinals have very good arms in center field and right field.
Yeah, not a short thing that Maldonado is going to be able to score on a single. Doesn't run all that well. He's going to have to get a good jump.
Grichuk normally has a strong arm in left, but he's not throwing the ball well. Elbow tendonitis as a baseball gets loose from the Brewers bullpen. Jeanette in a hitter's count, 2-0. He's pinch hitting in the 7th in a 1-1 game.
Just can't get together, can they?
Lackey's not convinced on this pitch.
It's only happening with men on base when he's in the stretch. Doesn't seem to be an issue with nobody on.
Down and in, ball 3.
Take a guy out of his rhythm a little bit. You know, you can't get those signs right. Discrepancy either what the pitch is going to be or the location, one of the two.
Randy Choate might be next to face Schaefer if Lackey cannot retire Jeanette. There's a strike. Three and 2. That's the thing about Lackey. He has so much confidence in his breaking stuff that he'll throw it 3-1. There's always that notion that he can throw any pitch anytime, that little bit of hesitation.
Especially with the first base open, right? I mean, he's a ground ball pitcher.
And a fastball, Jeanette fouls it away.
He's only going to throw you strikes if you show him that you're not going to swing at pitches out of the strike zone. You saw that last inning.
He knows what he wants to do, that's for sure. Pitching for the minimum salary this year. He had an injury season with Boston. It was part of the contract. And if he came back, then he'd have to pitch for the minimum. So he got paid his big salary that particular year in Boston. And a pop-up. That's going to keep Maldonado at second base. Lackey comes all the way back, down 3-0 to Jeanette. Gets him to fly out to left for the second out of the inning.
The only real good pitch he had to hit was a 3-0 pitch. Took that, which you would expect. And then Lackey able to get him on a couple of breaking pitches.
Now this is a spot, if the Brewers had Adam Lind coming up, Matheny would probably go to the bullpen, but it is Logan Schaefer, and Matheny's going to take the gamble and let it ride with Lackey.
And Schaefer's got a couple of base hits in his last 2 at bats.
Schaefer trying to make him pay here. Every manager with a pitcher like Lackey in a tie game late wants to try to leave him out there as long as he can to give him a chance at a win.
And not only that, there's certain guys, you know, in the big leagues that deserve the opportunity to get themselves out of the trouble they get themselves into. And on the Cardinals right now, Lackey's the guy. His runs are going to score. It's going to be he giving up the runs, not somebody else.
Only the top of the rotation pitchers get that treatment. Maldonado still at second base. Schaefer takes a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Schaefer with 2 singles off Lackey. Both of them to right field. Maldonado is going to be on the move with the crack of the bat. Very small lead at second base, though. One pitch outside, ball 2. see what he does here. 2-1, and Schaefer pulls one foul.
You almost have to be looking breaking ball on Lackey right now when you're ahead in the count. 2-1, 3-1. Those are the pitches that he's throwing. Schaefer got one, but pulled it foul.
Darnell Coles, Brewers hitting coach, trying to get his center fielder to deliver, give the Brewers the lead. Cardinal fans letting their voices be heard here. The 2-2 pitch, and Schaefer in the air, right field. Piscotti, routine, inning over. So the gamble pays off. Lackey stays, gets through the inning. We're still tied at 1.
Park to see the Crew take on their rivals from the Windy City in the final home game of 2015. We'll get a free Brewers Retro Knit Cap. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or go to brewers.com.
That'll get you ready for winter.
Sweet.
Jeremy Jeffress on to pitch. We're in a 1-1 game here in St. Louis, bottom of the 7th inning. Brewers just stranded a runner at second base.
Yep, scoreless inning for Jeffress on Friday against these Cardinals. That included 3 strikeouts. He gave up a hit, a walk, but struck out the side. Has given up only 2 runs in his last 22 appearances. Needs to do that here tonight or today. Give up 0 to get the Brewers to the 8th.
Big hand for Matt Holliday, as he is announced as the pinch hitter to start the 7th inning. Lackey's out, 7 strong today, 1 run, a home run by Davis. And Lackey finishes with 7 punch-outs.
I don't think he's going to be pitching for the minimum next year.
No, he's going to get a nice little number.
That's now 20 consecutive starts for Lackey, 6 or more innings.
So now it's a bullpen game. And Holliday cuts and misses. By him. Big fastball from Jeffress upstairs, and it's 0-2.
It's always been the way to get Holliday with that hard stuff up and in on him, but even more now that he's kind of rusty at the plate.
Holliday with 2 doubles and 2 RBIs yesterday. Got a start in left. 2 trips to the disabled list with that quad injury. The Cardinals and quad injuries this year, they've had 3 of them. Adams, and that was serious, required surgery. Holiday and Pham. Pham was the first one, spring training. A little wave. Did he go? He did not. Checks his swing. Josh Donaldson's done it again. Maybe another stake in the ground for MVP. The Blue Jays third baseman just hit a walk-off homer against the Rays. Man, what a season he is having. My goodness. Josh Donaldson.
Yeah.
Traded from the A's to the Blue Jays. Won that game 5-4. Donaldson's 41st. There's a shot caught by Jeffress. Right into the glove it goes. Holiday is out.
Well, Holiday got it down on the trademark. Didn't hit it all that hard. That's a big fastball again. Jeffress able to throw the glove out and grab it for the first out of the inning.
Top of the order now, Matt Carpenter. By the way, that Blue Jays magic number is down to 4. If you're keeping an eye on the other races around the big leagues. 4-game magic number over the Yankees, who are winning today. 6-1. They're in the 9th inning. They are leading the White Sox. Cubs Pirates tonight. Jake Arrieta, A.J. Burnett. That'll be a good one. At Wrigley. Last regular season game at Wrigley. Could be the last game at Wrigley Field this season.
Yeah, Arrieta pretty good, huh? Against the Brewers last time out.
Got his 20th win against Milwaukee his last time out. His ERA is 1.88.
Unbelievable pitching performance.
Swing and a miss. 0-2 on Carpenter.
And once again, Cardinal pitching keeping them in the game. Offense has done nothing. 0 for 10 today with runners in scoring position on the Cardinals.
Give you an idea how close these games have been this year between the Brewers and the Cardinals. And St. Louis is 13-5 against Milwaukee, right? Mm-hmm. In the 18 games, 14 of them have required a save. 14 of the 18 games. Unfortunately for the Brewers, they have come up on the wrong side of a number of those. They've played a lot of close games. The Brewers' win on Friday was a 4-3 win.
Come from behind win. Mm-hmm. Down 3-1.
What was that from Maldonado, you think? That was like when he was on a motorcycle and he was wanting to turn right before the pitch came. Or he was influencing the home plate umpire to call a strike. I'm not sure what that was. That is a guy who loves to catch. Loves his position. 2-2 pitch. The slider misses in.
Very animated back there behind home plate.
My favorite is when there's a potential check swing or full swing. Maldonado's like shaking his head, trying to encourage the umpire, shaking his head yes, nodding up and down. Like, you saw that, right? You saw that swing. Carpenter in the air, right center field. Santana looks up, and it is gone. Matt Carpenter with a home run to give the Cardinals the lead in the 7th. He is as clutch as it gets in this Cardinal lineup. Number 27, and it's 2-1 Redbirds.
Yeah, they scored just enough. And pitching keeps them close. Second run on the board for St. Louis. Fastball out over the plate and knocks it out of here. Just barely over that wall in right center.
Carpenter with a curtain call. Career high 27 homers. That puts Lackey in the winner's circle right now. He got down 2 strikes quickly. He got down 0-2. He comes all the way back to work at full and then homers.
And Jeffers just not able to get that curveball close enough to the plate to get Carpenter to chase. And then he had to come in with a fastball.
Stephen Piscotty. That ball's hit well. Way back. Stephen Piscotty gives the Cardinals a 2-run lead. Back-to-back home runs, just like Thursday night.
Yep, pretty much the same pitch, a little bit more. Piscotty in on him, able to get the hands out and knocks that one way back over the Brewers bullpen out there in left. 2-seam fastball, middle in at 94. And Piscotty turns it around. Back-to-back homers.
Rick Kranitz out to try to settle down Jeffress. What a story Piscotty has been. He's been their best run producer since he started playing just about every day in late July. Has over 40 runs batted in now since that time. Or over 30 runs batted in, I should say. That was his 39th for the season. 7th homer. Back-to-back homers go the Cardinals, and they now lead 3-1.
Tough duty for an offense that hasn't been able to put up many runs with the back end of this Cardinals bullpen waiting.
Segrist will be next, their setup man. And then Rosenthal to close. Jason Hayward with 1 out. Well, normally Craig Counsell's best group are his late inning relievers. There's a broken bat. Segura plays it back, and Hayward's out. Second out of the inning. Most reliable group of players he's had all year is his late inning relief. Smith, Jeffress, K-Rod. But not today with Jeremy Jeffress giving up back-to-back homers. David Goforth is in the Brewers bullpen. Cardinal bullpen still active. Segrist continues to prepare for what is now a hold situation. The Cardinals setup man. Randall Grichuk with 2 away.
Looks a lot like Hunter Pence up there at the plate, doesn't he? I mean, almost identical to what Pence does when he's up at the plate. Spread out, got that bat rocking back and forth.
He's not quite as fidgety, but nobody is. Three balls and a strike. 2 men are out, and Grichuk fouls it away.
That's a big difference between he and Hunter Pence. Pence doesn't lay his bat down like that. Kind of wraps it around his head a little bit.
He's having a Hunter Pence impact. And a strikeout. Jeffress finishes the inning off with a strikeout of Grichuk. However, the Cardinals go back-to-back. Carpenter and Piscotty. It's 3-1. Now 3-1. We go to the 8th. And how about our Miller Lite What's on Tap? Jorge Lopez will make his major league debut Tuesday night. Brewers will take an off day tomorrow, a team off day. And then it's Lopez, Davies, and Youngman. 3-game series, the last 3 road games of the year in San Diego. Tyson Ross, Andrew Kashner, and Ian Kennedy will match up against those 3 Brewers. I know Lopez is excited. The Brewers minor league pitcher of the year will be on display Tuesday night. Stay up late with us.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him. Zach Davies has the last 2 quality starts the Brewers have been able to post. And Taylor Youngman, his last start of the season, perhaps. It will be, actually.
Yep.
On Thursday. Well, Kevin Striegers is having a terrific season so far this year. 78th appearance, a 7-1 record, earned run average just a bit over 2. Saw Seagrass here in the first game of the series. A scoreless inning that included a strikeout.
Well, the Brewers now having to come from behind. Down 2. Got the right part of the order coming up. Segura will lead off, then Lind, and then Chris Davis, who is homered today. And Segura turns on one. That's deep into left field. Grichuk, or Piscotty rather, with room, and he makes the catch. He leaps and hauls it in.
Boy, that ball carried, didn't it? I'll tell you, off the bat, didn't even sound like he got all of it. Wind must be blowing, pushing the baseball out toward left field. I think it fooled Grichuk as well. He had to go all the way back to the wall. Actually jumped a little bit soon. He had another step to take. Able to haul it in.
Yeah, Piscotty moving from right field to left field after he hits the home run. That makes a great catch. Cardinals brought John Jay into play center field. Didn't even have time to set that up for you.
Yeah, I didn't even see it. So yeah, Piscotty going back had another step to take.
One away. Here is Lind. Segrist has been one of the better relief pitchers around. He's left-handed, but not a matchup left-hander. He's the 8th inning guy. He's the setup man for Rosenthal. He's a good one. Hard throwing left-hander. He's got a lot of good breaking stuff as well. And he zips that fastball in there in the 93 to 95 mile an hour range. He's got Lynn 2-2 with 1 out in the 8th. And a fastball just missed.
Yeah, Fox Tracks had it just a bit off the corner. I think Lynn was waiting to get rung up right there. Didn't miss by much.
Segrist has that sinking fastball by a lefty. You don't see many sinkers. 3-2. And that was off the edge. Wow, boy, he's right around the strike zone, but Lynn shows a good eye, draws the walk. And the Brewers will bring the tying run to the plate, and Chris Davis now. Davis is in our shining moment back in the 2nd inning.
That breaking ball from John Lackey knocks it out of here, gives the Brewers a 1-0 lead. That was the last time the Brewers have been able to post a run. That was the 2nd inning.
Number 25 for Davis. Home run here will tie it up.
The thing about Davis is, I mean, you try and work him away. If you don't get it downstairs, he will take it out of here to right. Not just a pull hitter. Hitting home runs all over the place. Line to line.
Good changeup by Segrist. Davis out in front of it. Most relief pitchers, especially late inning relievers, are 2-pitch pitchers. Fastball sliders, the typical combination, or fastball splitter. Segrist has 3.
And obviously not afraid to throw it in tight spots.
1 ball, 1 strike. Another one. Changeup fouled away.
Showing a lot of respect for Chris Davis today. Walked him intentionally his last time up. I guess realizing at this point in the lineup there aren't too many other guys who are going to take you out of the ballpark. Guy behind him can.
Got him. Strikeout. Out number 2.
Yep, changeup, and fastball. Through the first 3 pitches that Chris and that at bat were changeups, and then elevates the big fastball to get him.
Two outs now. Here comes Santana. Another guy with big power. And Segrist starts him with a fastball at 95. If Santana can reach, Jonathan Lucroy would hit next. That would be the guy the Brewers would want at the plate the most right now. Santana able to lay off that off-speed pitch.
And that changeup just missing the corner. It's been all fastballs and changeups so far for Siegrist in this inning.
Siegrist only 26. This is his 3rd year in the big leagues. He has been a reliever exclusively as a major leaguer. Leads the big leagues in games pitched, number 78 here today. Jam shot out there in center field. Long run for everybody. John Jay will run it down. They bring Jay in for defense, and his defense pays off. Inning over to the bottom of the 8th. Cardinals 3, Brewers 1. Going after Bryce Harper. Papelbon would end up pitching in that game and took a loss.
Gave up a homer.
And the Phillies end up winning that game 12-5. And it's starting to look like the acquisition of Jonathan Papelbon was a huge mistake. Can't put that on Matt Williams. That comes from above.
You only wonder, what it was all about. I guess running out of fly ball and Papelbon chirping at him as he comes back into the dugout. Harper took an exception to it. I mean, Papelbon does have a point, but you can't do that to the MVP.
Right.
I mean, the guy's been playing his heart out all season long and doesn't run out of fly ball and getting on him a little bit. You know who's going to win that battle.
Right. Papelbon might have pitched in his last game with the Nationals. That'll be an interesting fallout after that one. Mark Reynolds leads off for the Cardinals. Cardinals are looking for their 99th win of the season. They're trying to win 100 games for the first time since '05. Would be their 5th 100-win season since 1950. This is a tie game at 1 going into the bottom of the 7th. Jeffrey's got his first man out. He retired Matt Holliday, and then Carpenter and Piscotty go back-to-back. Second time we've seen back-to-back homers against the Brewers in this series. Peralta and Piscotty did it in game 1. And there's a leadoff walk to Reynolds.
And this Friday, the Brewers open up a weekend series against the Cubs, and because it's a student night at Miller Park, all high school and college students can get tickets for just $10. Plus, enjoy a special $3 pregame menu. For tickets, Go to brewers.com/students.
Lead man on. Here's Colton Wong. The Astros have added to their lead at home against the Rangers. 3-1 now in the top of the 8th inning. The Angels are just a half game behind the Astros for the second wild card spot. They are tied at 1 in the 5th against the Mariners. Royals have clinched a division title. The Blue Jays are hoping to clinch soon. The Mets clinched last night, as Jeff mentioned. And the Mets won again today. They won their 4th straight. DeGrom got the win today. Dodgers could clinch a division today with a win and a Giants loss. Wong strikes out for the first out of the inning.
Mets made some pretty good trading deadline pickup, didn't they?
Yes, they did. Kelly Johnson and Juan Uribe, and then the big one was Cespedes. Might have worked out for all parties. That Gomez to the New York Mets failed deal. The Brewers feel really good about the players they got in return.
Right.
4 players, 4 prospects. They certainly would have loved to have Zach Wheeler in the mix. That's a guy that can emerge as an ace coming back from a Tommy John surgery. So they got 2 younger pitchers that are more of a question mark. One of them is here, Adrian Hauser, who made his big league debut yesterday.
He's got a good arm, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. John Jay at the plate, just made a nice catch, sliding catch at center field to win the last inning. And a ground ball, should be 2. Rivera to Segura, room service. 4-6-3 double play to end the inning. We go to the 9th. The Brewers need 2 to tie, 3 to take the lead. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. To the 9th we go. Could be a record-setting moment here for Trevor Rosenthal. Single season record of 48 saves is on the line. He is 47 out of 49 this season, and he's trying to set the Cardinal franchise record with a save here today. He's got a 2-run lead to work with.
Yeah, Brewers hung a loss on him his last time out a couple of days ago. Chris Davis home run. Gave up 3 hits in that appearance. Well, he's got the bottom of the Brewers order to deal with here.
Cardinals trying to guarantee they'll have at least a 3-game lead going to Pittsburgh tomorrow. Pittsburgh plays the Cubs tonight. They've got Arrieta to deal with at Wrigley Field tonight. Shane Peterson pinch hitting. Rosenthal gave up a 9th-inning home run to Chris Davis Friday night. That was in a tie game, non-save situation. And Peterson, a little flare. That is going to fall. A base hit. So the tying run will bat. Shane Peterson with a pinch hit single. Didn't hit it hard, but put it in the right spot.
And just have to figure out a way to get that tying run to the plate, and the Brewers able to do that quickly. Well, Rosenthal has struggled his last couple of times out against Milwaukee. How about a bloop and a blast?
Or how about a bloop and a blast?
Well,
I mean, you want to get greedy.
Well, no,
you mean
no.
From now on, you mean?
Yeah, right.
Oh, okay.
Another bloop and a blast.
I thought you were accounting for the bloop already.
No.
Maldonado takes a ball inside.
From this moment forward, the bloop and the blast.
Well, that's perfect. I'm in. I'm all in on that one. I mean, if you're going to get 2, you might as well get 3.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Or more. Rosenthal's only blown 2 all year. Ouch, that hit him? Was that a swing? It was a foul ball, says the home plate umpire.
Hit the bat. Maldonado acting like it hit him.
Had a bat kind of sound, not a thud. One ball, one strike. Rosenthal delivers down and away.
Rosenthal, another guy that's going to throw that changeup on you. 97, 98 with a fastball. He's got a good changeup. Breaking ball to go with it.
Two balls and a strike. And Maldonado grounds it foul. 2-2 now. Rosenthal has tied the Cardinal franchise record for saves in a season, tying Lee Smith and Jason Isringhausen with 47. He could stand alone for the save today. The 2-2 pitch. Oh my gosh. Hit him in the helmet.
Changeup though. That's the one saving grace. It wasn't one of those 98 fastballs. Well, he's going to be all right. Tough guy, huh?
Maldonado will take first base. Drilled in the head. And Brewers are going to check on him. You're right. Changeup right off the top of the helmet.
Yep, back of the head. He was able to turn his head away from it. It wasn't not going to affect him. It wasn't baseball to face. It got the back of the helmet.
The council's going to make a move here and pinch run for Maldonado regardless. So Michael Reed will come on. Maldonado is on his way out. That's athletic trainer Dave Yeager with him. He looks like he's all right.
I think this would have been a move that he would have made even had he walked or got a base hit, because you need good speed at first base to score that tying run.
So Reed is aboard, and here is Lucroy. And now one swing of the bat could give the Brewers the lead. single and a hit batter. First and second with nobody out. Lucroy's been red hot. 5 hits in his 7 at-bats since coming back. He was not on the DL. He just wasn't playing. No need to put him on the DL with expanded rosters, but he's been out with a concussion. Started yesterday's game and had 3 hits.
Very hard to believe he's pushing 270 for a batting average of 268. Rosenthal having all kinds of problems out there. It's not the pitching coach. It's going to be Mike Matheny.
Wants to find out exactly what's going on. So Matheny will take the walk. There is no activity in the bullpen. Matheny, prior to this series beginning, went on the record to say he's going to try to watch Rosenthal's outings and maybe protect him a little bit. And then the Pirates started beating the Cubs, won the first 2 games of that series, and so until you have it clenched up, you got to go with your best guy. And Rosenthal is sitting here on a franchise record for saves in a season, only blowing 2 all year. This is his inning. See if Lucroy can find a mistake. Two on, nobody out. Brewers threatening in the 9th. And Lucroy, little half swing. Did he go? And they will not ask. Cruz wanted the home plate umpire to ask.
Yeah, Ben May, not asking. Mark Carlson down at first.
So that's ball 2 on Lucroy. Two and 1. The year Isringhausen set the franchise record, or tied it, with his 47th save. Mike Matheny was his catcher. That was back in 04. So Matheny has seen this kind of success from the closer's role before. Lee Smith set the record in '91. Big lead. Here's a 2-1. Down and away. Both runners will advance.
There you go.
So Peterson and Reed advance on a wild pitch, and a base hit will tie this game up. Boy, Rosenthal having all kind of trouble here.
Yeah, not even close. And Tony Cruz not able to grab it. So the Brewers a base hit away from tying this one up. I think Rosenthal having all kinds of problems. Got Lucroy in a 3-1 count.
Jason Rogers due next. He's on deck. 3 balls and a strike. Lucroy takes ball 4, and the bases are loaded. Bases loaded, nobody out.
You got to think that Matheny's got to start getting somebody up. I mean, Rosenthal is all out of sync out there.
And just as you say that bullpen springs into action for St. Louis. Seth Maness getting loose. Oh, it's game on now. The Brewers a chance to come back here in the 9th inning. Last regular season home game of the season for the Cardinals. And the Brewers can spoil the party. Bases loaded, nobody out. Peterson at third, Reed the pinch runner at second, Lucroy at first. And Rogers had a good swing. He fouls it back.
At 98, his best bolt was so far.
Rogers is a good hitter. He's been the Brewers' best pinch hitter this year. And he swings and he rips one deep into center field. That is way back there. And Rogers sends one out of here. A grand slam. The Brewers take the lead on a bomb by Jason Rogers.
Wow, how about that? Boy, that's going to quiet the crowd down here in St. Louis. Boy, a walk, a hit batter, and a grand slam by Jason Rogers. Oh, my. Unbelievable.
5-3 Milwaukee. 4 runs in, 1 swing of the bat, still nobody out.
Oh, the young man got a sweet swing up there as a pinch hitter. Wow.
And Mike Matheny is on his way out. Look at that Brewers dugout.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, have some fun, boys. It's been a long year. They've been wearing it all season. They are enjoying themselves now.
This would be a nice one to come back and win this baby. Check this out. Fastball right down the middle. Look how easy that swing is from Jason Rogers, and that was out of here by plenty. John Jay running out of room. Back here at about the second row, and the Brewers take a lead, 5-3. Wow.
Badger Mutual Insurance runs of the game. Jason Rogers, pinch hit, grand slam. Cardinals now trail 5-3 and a pitching change at Busch. Rogers with his first career grand slam. Now Logan Schaefer with the new pitcher in slaps one into left field, and the first 5 batters of this 9th inning for the Brewers have reached. The Brewers down 3-1. That grand slam by Rogers gave them the lead, and they are thirsty for more here in the 9th. Schaefer with his 3rd hit of the day.
Yeah, time to get greedy for this Brewers offense. They were held down all day long once John Lackey came out and Segrist throw up a scoreless inning. What? Rosenthal. Last couple of days against the Brewers, he's had his troubles.
And a bunt by Segura. So that's a sacrifice. The first out of the 9th inning advances Schaefer. There are the numbers on Seth Maness.
Yeah, ground ball specialist. He doesn't throw very hard, but he gets a lot of ground balls, double play balls. Earned run average just under 4 in his 74th appearance this year.
Well, how improbable this would be for the Brewers. The St. Louis Cardinals, when they lead after 8 innings, are 86-0 this year. The Brewers hang on to win. It'll be the first loss of the year, and it'll be the first win of the year for the Brewers when trailing after 8 innings. The Brewers are 0 for 85 this season in 9th inning comebacks.
Isn't that something?
But remember, on Friday, Davis in a 3-3 tie hit a homer off Rosenthal, which proved to be the game winner. And now they have a chance to hang another loss on the very talented Cardinal closer. I could almost hear Pittsburgh from here.
Yeah.
At PNC Park and the Pirates at Wrigley tonight. All right, let's get back into this home run by Rogers.
Right down the middle of the plate, exit velocity almost 102 miles an hour. And Jason Rogers, that's about as easy a swing as you can get. And hit the baseball that far. And Jason Rogers continues to swing the bat well, giving the Brewers a 2-run lead.
And now Chris Davis. This is the 8th batter of the inning, and Davis a high drive into center field. John Jay at the track. He's at the wall. He leaps, and goodbye. A home run for Davis. A 3-run shot. And the Brewers exploding here in the 9th inning. Davis with his 2nd homer of the game. His 26th of the year, and Milwaukee.
A 7-run 9th.
Oh my gosh.
Are you kidding me?
8-3 is the score.
And Chris Davis just passed Ryan Braun for the team lead in home runs. This is the way you see a lot of Chris Davis home runs, those high, majestic fly balls that don't seem to come down and just out of the reach of Jay in center. Goodness gracious. Where's this offense been all weekend?
Oh my goodness. This is something. Davis, the club leader in homers with his 2nd of the day, still just 1 out. Brewers have batted around. The only out was a sacrifice bunt by Segura. A grand slam and a 3-run homer in the same inning.
And you get to a point where it's not even a close opportunity for K-Rod. Who would have thought? Well, you were happy with a 2-run lead. Now the Brewers up by 5. How about Chris Davis? Boy, what an end to his season.
Oh, he's hit 19 home runs since August 6th. And even the diehard Cardinal fans are heading out of here. Ground ball to short. Garcia takes care of Santana. Reynolds able to keep a toe on the bag, and there is the 2nd out of the inning. The 9th batter faced of the inning.
And the pinch hitter Shane Peterson getting another one.
Peterson led off this inning with a single. A little flare in the right field. Peterson takes a strike. Chris Davis, after his 10 home run August, has hit 9 in September with 6 games to play. On the ground to second, and that will do it. What an inning for the Brew Crew. Harvey's Wallbangers have showed up again here in 2015. Jason Rogers with a grand slam to give Milwaukee a 5-3 lead, and they weren't done. Chris Davis steps up there and pops a 3-run homer, his 2nd of the day. And the Brewers are up 8-3 going to the bottom of the 9th. Eight-3 is our score as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning. A shocking 9th inning. And now Will Smith is on to try to finish this one off.
And make a winner out of David Goforth. A 74th appearance for Will Smith. A 7-2 record and a .282 earned run average. Just amazing work by this Brewers offense. Trevor Rosenthal coming in, giving up a grand slam, and the Brewers with a 5-run lead, and at the bottom 2 in the batting order due for the Cardinals.
Brewers have had one other 7-run inning this year. That was way back in May 22nd in Atlanta. Had a 7-run fourth. They put up 7 on Rosenthal and Manus in the 9th inning, with the Cardinals up 3-1 to make it 8-3 now.
Yeah, Will last pitched on Friday and won the game. He was a pitcher of record when Chris Davis hit the home run.
Tommy Pham will lead off for St. Louis. Boy, if the Brewers pull this one off, this would be the win of the year in what has been a dreadful season. The fact that they were 0 for 85 when trailing after 8 innings, to do it against one of the game's elite closers. And how about Jason Rogers, by the way?
Over at third base.
Rogers he's got a batting average near 500 in the month of September.
Yeah. Sweet swinging Jason Rogers. Been a while since he's been at third base.
And a line drive into left, a base hit. Tommy Pham on a 1-2 pitch singles. And the Cardinals get their lead man on. And Matheny's going to go back to his bench. He's got a lot of players to choose from down there. And here is Johnny Peralta. I don't think the Brewers mind seeing Peralta here with a 5-run lead. Can't even imagine the scene there at Wrigley Field in the visitors clubhouse. The Pirates and the Cubs are getting ready for a night game tonight at Wrigley, the Sunday night game. And you start to put the timetable together, right? So batting practice probably just about to start. As Peralta high in the air left center, that's going to stay in. And Schaefer will make the call and the catch, and there is out number 1.
I would imagine a little bit of a shot of adrenaline in that visiting clubhouse for the Pirates.
No doubt. No doubt.
They got their hands full tonight, though. Jake Arrieta on the mound for Chicago.
Matt Carpenter with one away. Cardinals had not blown a lead after 8 innings all season. The Brewers had not come back after 8 innings all season. But it could happen. 2 outs away. Brewers lead by 5 after a 7-run top of the 9th. If you left and are now coming back. 2 homers in the 9th. A grand slam by Rogers and a 3-run home run by Davis. Brewers brought 10 batters to the plate. 7 of them scored. Pham takes off. The Brewers will let him go. No stolen base for Pham. Does take Smith out of a double play chance to get out of the inning. That new battery of Will Smith and Nevin Ashley, after Maldonado was hit in the head by a Rosenthal changeup. Pinch run for Ashley will try to finish this one out behind the plate. Carpenter fouls it away.
He better. There's nobody else.
Who's your emergency catcher right now? Rogers?
Well, it was going to be Herrera, but he's not available.
Rogers has done a little catching. Let's hope you don't have to get to that point.
The only guys left, Herrera, Braun, both probably not available at all today.
I can almost bet every mortgage you've ever had that Ryan Braun will not be.
Oh, no. No, I'm not saying that.
Ryan Braun shut down for the year. Craig Counsell was always the emergency catcher for the Brewers back in the day when he played. Never happened. There's a swing and a miss. Carpenter strikes out, and Will Smith with 2 gone.
A good breaking ball that time, getting Carpenter off the outside corner. Waves at it for 2 outs. How about me and you? We'll go down there. We'll go down there and catch.
I would love it. There's a very good chance that neither one of us would come out of it healthy, but it would be a great experience.
I actually said me and you.
Oh, I thought you said
not me and you.
You mean 2 real major league catchers?
Well, you would work. I don't think Bob would do it, but you know, Uke, when he was a broadcaster, actually caught in an exhibition game in El Paso. We were talking about that down on the field a couple of days ago.
Yeah. Last call for the Cardinals here. Stephen Piscotty. Boy, this one is going to send shockwaves through baseball if the Brewers get one more out here.
Second biggest story today.
Yeah, correct. The Papelbon-Harper fight is probably the headliner. You're right. 1 ball, 1 strike. And a ground ball foul. It was Piscotty and Carpenter who went back-to-back in the 7th inning to break a 1-1 tie. This was a tight game going into the 7th. And then Carpenter went deep to put the Cardinals ahead on a 2-strike pitch. Piscotty homered the next batter to give him a 3-1 lead. And that's where it was to start the 9th inning until Rosenthal gave it up. Two balls, 2 strikes. And that one just missed. Joe Block, Brewers radio man, had a good note here. That Jason Rogers grand slam, that's the first pinch hit grand slam for the Brewers since Matt Mieske did it in 1995. Almost 20 years, a little over 20 years. September of '95. That ball's fair, and it's Rogers, and a long throw is off the mark. And a run will come in to score. That'll be an error on Rogers.
Yeah, that's why Rogers doesn't play a lot of third base. This game should be over. They just couldn't handle the throw over to first base. Did a nice job with the short hop, but not even close. And this game continues. A run is in.
Makes it 8-4. Rogers talking to himself. Hey, if you're going to drive in 4, you can give up 1. But don't do it again. Now Hayward is up. The door is open slightly for the Cardinals. Runner takes off. Hayward takes a ball from Smith.
But to extend the game could be more than that. You never know. Really a 4-run cushion.
Good matchup here for the Brewers. Lefty on lefty. And there's a fastball strike. Another base runner, and it'll turn into a save situation. 1-1 to count. Hayward takes a ball. Boy, that didn't miss by much. 2-1 now. Most of the 45,000 here today have left. Pitch number 3 was a strike. Should have been. Wasn't called. And a swing and a miss.
Good slider.
Smith is burying those breaking balls down in the bottom corner. So the Cardinals down to their last strike. Two and 2. Brewers lead by 4. And a little chopper, tough play. Smith falls down, and Sardinia's throw is late.
Kidding me?
Infield hit.
Unbelievable.
And the game continues. Hayward reaches. First and third for St. Louis.
Man, how many of those have we seen today?
And Counsell is headed to the mound. He is going to bring on his closer. I don't think Smith was going to be able to get to it anyway, but Hayward runs well, and no chance for Sardinias to make that play. So it's a safe situation. Tying run has moved on deck, and here comes Francisco Rodriguez trying to get the final out. So that makes it a safe situation, and Craig Counsell is going to bring on his closer, Francisco Rodriguez. He's going after number 37 here. He needs one out.
Yeah, 36 came on Friday night in the Brewers game here. Second game of this series. Scoreless ninth inning, included a couple of strikeouts. 59 punch-outs for K-Rod in 54 and 2/3 innings. Got Brandon Moss between he and number 37.
Brewers with a 7-run ninth inning to take the lead. And all you Pirates fans that have tuned in, welcome to our world this year. It always goes down to the end. The Brewers trying to seal up a victory. Brandon Moss pinch hitting. Cardinals acquired him from the Indians. He is a power threat. Mark Reynolds, the former Brewer, is on deck.
Yeah, that's the guy you got to worry about. This guy doesn't mean a whole lot, so you got to make him swing the bat.
Hayward takes off. Brewers don't care. Defensive indifference. The third of the inning. Moss is a dead pull hitter on the ground. And the Brewers set up 3 infielders on the right side. Rogers is the lone infielder over on the left side. He's committed an error, but he hit the grand slam that gave him the lead. Moss pops it up. Coming in, Shane Peterson. Segura is out. Who wants it? Peterson, the former Cardinal, makes the catch. And the ball game is over, and the Brewers win a thriller today. Best win of the year for Milwaukee. In a season to forget. This is going to be a memory for the Brew Crew.
And the guys are going to jump on a plane, head to San Diego in good moods tonight. And Jason Rogers, the hero, the big grand slam. And Chris Davis hit another one, a 3-run shot, a 7-run ninth. And the Brewers walk away with a beautiful victory here at Busch Stadium.